Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this Kerbal Space Program episode, I'm gonna clean up the trash I've made in this KSP world so I can be a good boy and get some presents. I mean, I'm kinda late, but better late than never, I guess. I hope y'all are doing fine this Christmas season. I'm sorry that I couldn't upload this video right exactly on Christmas because I was a bit sick, so I couldn't really narrate the video on time. Even now, I definitely still sound a bit ill, but that's okay, because I'm getting better and stuff. At the beginning, you probably saw part 1 Project Clean Kerbin. Here I'm gonna clean up the Kerbin system first. Fortunately, most of the debris around Kerbin has a periapsis below the carbon line, so all it takes is some re-entry for them, as you can see right now. This video has 3 parts, by the way. I can't believe that last year, on this very day, I uploaded that video where I tried to use ChatGPT to help me with going to the moon and back in IVA mode. It's absolutely mental that time flew so fast like that. Flew by. Yeah. Okay, what do I talk about? Oh yeah, PUBG. The last video flopped, and I think it deserved to flop because it was a bit low effort. But for that video, I tried to experiment with the display settings in the game to make OBS less laggy. But even yesterday, I couldn't make the recording super smooth for a cinematic. However, through fiddling with the display stuff in the game, I think I found a way so I can record with OBS while I play PUBG, even though the frame rate wouldn't be the best, which is a level up from the last video since the last one was just a replay. What I did was I changed the display driver thing from DirectX 12 to DirectX 11. By doing that, the occasional lag hiccups that I get, even when I don't record, are gone. So, see Deus Vault, I might upload some PUBG gameplay in the near future. But, spoiler, I'm not that good at the game. Plus, I think I'd have to upload solo gameplay since I'm not sure if it's exactly the most ethical to upload other teammates' voices. And I don't want to use my mic to say, hey, is it okay if I record your voices since I'm recording? Since I'm shy and I don't want to use my mic. But there's the drawback that there's gonna be so many bots in solo, at least according to some Reddit posts. I could do one-man squad, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll probably die or something. It might be fun though, depending on the circumstances. What I could possibly do is combine both this new approach to recording with the old one. By recording, without game sound but with my microphone, the actual live gameplay, and recording the audio from the replay. I think that would be a bit weird, but why not, you know? I think a possible issue would be the fact that my gun sounds might not be in sync with the game, but whatever. I suppose it's worth a try, right? And it's not gonna be really I think it's gonna be a little bit laggy, I think. But it's fine. The audio will be fine, I guess. Maybe. Cause I'm wondering what if the game gets the replay from the client side position of the player and information about the player rather than, I don't know. Sorry, I had to cough. Okay, part 2, Project Courageous Kerbin. Okay, I tried to make all the project titles start with a P, a C, and a K to maintain consistency. This one has Courageous in it because we're gonna send an actual craft to space that will, by itself, with my control, go to some debris orbiting Kerbin, rendezvous with it, and bring it back. I made a bit of a mistake in building this. I added a heat shield into the decoupler for the probe without adding parachutes, so it isn't actually recoverable. Also, I'm using a probe instead of a capsule because, I suppose it would have been cooler if I used a command pod with a Kerbal in it, but I guess the Kerbals weren't quite happy with risking another Kerbal life. I mean, I am the one to blame for getting Bob Kerbin stranded on the surface of Moho 4 episodes ago. Oh well. Let's talk about the design of the payload. The payload is quite basic, basically just a probe core with SAS modules, fuel tank, engine, electrical parts, and, most importantly, a claw so that it can actually grab the space junk and take it to where it belongs, back home. I think I initially wanted to use a really small probe core, but I wasn't sure if it had all the SAS features, so I just decided to use the golden hexagon probe core. Weight isn't really an issue with a good fuel tank and an engine, I guess. Plus, this is Kerbal Space Program, right? So, no need to be super fuel efficient. As for the design of the launch vehicle, the central launch stage looks a bit weird. but I thought that it had enough fuel while not being too long. Unlike if I just chose the Mark III size fuel tanks. I guess it looks interesting the mainsail engine, could handle that big of a fuel tank. I think it might be a good idea for me to create sub-assemblies of big launch vehicles so that in the future I can just assign a payload, use a ready-made launch vehicle, and launch the thing. No need for a special rocket, right? On the launch pad, I'm gonna time warp until the target is on the east horizon. I think it makes it easier to rendezvous with it or whatever. Here we go, about to launch in 3, 2, 1. Engine ignition, lift off. I've sped the footage up again, so wait, actually not yet, so let's wait for it. There you go, I've sped the footage up again, so now let's talk about the parts of this episode that were never included. The thing is, I made a craft with a whole mining rig thing so that it can refuel and go interplanetary and bring the debris back to Kerbin. But once I actually launched the thing, I realized that it would take too much work and effort to do. Plus, it would have to do the mathematics to calculate I would have to do the mathematics to calculate launch windows for each piece of debris in orbit around Kerbal. I know there are calculators, but honestly that just feels too much work either, so you'll see what I'll do in part 3. Here I'm just making the launch stage re-enter while the actual payload is on an encounter with the target debris. Here we go. Oh, alright, here we go. We switched to the, what's it called? The payload. There you go. And I made another mistake when building the craft. I didn't put RCS thrusters, so I couldn't do lateral movement. That proved a bit of a pain, as you can see here. If this was real life, I'd be fired by Elon Musk. Even though the arm bumped the decoupler softly, it didn't connect, so I was confused until I decided to use a bit of force, which was just what it took. There you go. And now we got the debris and time to bring it back to Kerbin. There you go. And the probe core had no parachute, and thus was subject to one fate. Nevertheless, mission success. Now this is part 3, Project Catholic Kryptonite. What does that mean? Well, Catholic just means universal, and Kryptonite makes Superman go away. This means I used this really new and epic radiation technology that the Kerbals made to eliminate any undesirable object in the universe. And the Kerbals were so kind as to make the UI so simple. Just click on the object, click the X button, and voila, it's all gone. I mean, it's a bit crude and simple, but it gets the job done quite well. Good thing that this thing doesn't actually create infinitesimally small debris that makes space even more full of junk, right? It just defies physics and deletes the matter out of existence. And that brings us to the end. So make sure you like and subscribe if you actually want to, that is. Absolutely no pressure, by the way.